Good morning and welcome to the campus of the Ohio State University. I am Tom Orr. This is Bill Green. That's Mark Gifler. We're all with BuckeyesCoop.com. We are here for an event. We've only had a website for like a year, and we have never gotten to do this before. All in person. We get to cover an actual Ohio State football camp. How exciting! Mark, what are we looking at today? Yesterday I know there were some littler kids here. Who's here today for Ohio State's camp?
Yeah, I think, and I know Bill's going to probably want to dive into the Kristen Miller experience, but four-star defensive tackle out of Georgia is going to be up here today, supposed to be working out. He's got a younger teammate, cornerback, is going to be working out as well. I'm looking forward to the quarterbacks this afternoon. I think it's going to be really difficult for Ohio State to sell a high-end 2023 quarterback right now, given what the room looks like. And they're getting some good ones to come up to camp, which is a really good sign. So Dante Moore out of Michigan, Malachi Singleton out of Georgia. There's going to be a few other guys today. I want to see the quarterbacks today and see if Ohio State, sees someone and jumps in and makes a move and kind of identifies a top guy early.
It's interesting to me that last year, the 2021 class, no one got evaluated in person after, basically their junior seasons. This year, no one for the 2022 class has been evaluated at all in person since they were sophomores. But with this wave of people coming on campus for visits now, and some of the new rules that they have in terms of being able to evaluate in person, Bill, I'm assuming this is going to be a pretty well evaluated class, because all the evaluations are pretty late in the process, where it's you're not projecting a sophomore. It's okay, here's what these kids look like going into their senior year.
Yeah, you get them today for who they are today. So your first look is you're not guessing what is this kid going to be in a year and a half. It's who he is now. So that's a huge key for them. Like I say, it's going to be an unbelievable month. We've never seen a month like this. I've been covering recruiting over 20 years. We've never seen a month where it's jammed in with visits, camps, official visits, unofficial visits, private workouts. You're seeing everything here in a short 4-week period. So it's amazing. We're excited for it, and I know the coaches are too.
So one thing that's a little different this year, they changed the rules. On unofficial visits, you can work out one-on-one with one of the assistant coaches for an hour. You can't do that on an official visit. You can do that on your unofficial visits.
Right.
So that's a little different this year. Outside of that, though, Mark, when you're at a camp like this, what is it like for people who haven't been here? What's going on? What does it look like? Is this just chaos everywhere? How do they have guys broken down in terms of positions or whatever? What goes on during one of these days?
Generally, it's pretty chaotic. A lot of these will have hundreds of kids. It's not an elite camp necessarily. There are elite kids here, but there's D2 guys here, type of guys, and so there's kids everywhere. It's trying to corral them to get a good evaluation. But I believe today with the protocols are that 25 player pods they're working out in. So you're going to be with your position groups, but you're going to be in those 25 player pods. There's not going to be 100 kids in one drill area. So that may help us actually get a better evaluation on guys. And then generally what they'll do is the guys who they like or look good, they'll move them into an area and work them out with the position coaches. And so it's a lot of moving around. You're trying to see a little bit of everybody, make sure you don't miss anything. And but with the 25 group pods, and we got a bunch of us here. Mick Walker's going to be here. We should have everything covered.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is a lot of fun because we've had a site for a year, and this is the first time I've ever actually stood next to Bill in person. He's been on the Morning Scoop 50 times, and I've never met him in person. I've never met Mick Walker in person. This is quite exciting. It's just so nice to be doing stuff in person again.
It is. It is. In all these years, I've covered so many camps. When I worked for 24/7 or Scout, I used to come to Ohio State, leave here, go to Cincinnati's camp, stay overnight, go to Kentucky's camp, head to Indiana, and you get so tired of it, but then you miss it for a year, and it's oh my gosh, I can't wait to get back to camps again. So I'm pretty pumped up for this one. And, one of the highlights, like Mark was talking about, for me is always when Ryan Day will be in the indoor facility, and who do they go get off the side fields and bring in to work out for Ryan Day? That's always fun. I'm looking forward to that again. And for me, I have never seen Sonny Styles in person. I've only seen film. I know you've seen him a ton, and Mick has seen him. The only time I've seen Sonny Styles, he was on crutches as a freshman on the sideline. So I'm hoping he's supposed to be here today. I'm dying to watch him work out. The film's off the charts, and I'm looking forward to eyeballing him live.
So Are there certain position groups that you think it's more useful to watch at a camp? I mean, I know one of your recruiting rules was running backs.
Forget it.
Don't pay attention to running
Other
backs,
than-
but yeah.
Other than
Yeah.
the true size.
Yeah, but are there specific position groups where it's like you can learn a lot about a guy watching him in person, even if it's just shorts and t-shirts?
Well, for me, I like watching the linemen because the linemen are out there. They do have a helmets on, no pads, so you can see who's a bad dude and who's a little scared and a little soft. You have no pads, no protection, and it's mono on mono. So I love watching the linemen go at it. You really, really learn about toughness at that point.
I like the skill guy, the receiver DB one-on-ones are always fun. You see who's competitive. Almost every kid's going to lose a rep at some point, so you get to see how does the corner who just got burned by the receiver, how does he respond? How does the receiver does the receiver get frustrated? Corners get a little handsy at these things and kind of try and use that to their advantage. There's no refs out there throwing pass interference flags.
Right.
So how do those guys kind of compete? And you kind of see the route running and the catching and the contested catches and things like that, and the ball skills of the defensive backs. I always like watching those one-on-ones.
You mentioned the quarterbacks earlier. We always hear that Ryan Day doesn't want to offer a guy until he's seen him throw in person. Now, you would think, like, you always hear when they're talking about evaluating guys for the NFL draft, like, who cares what he looks like in shorts and a t-shirt? You've got all this game film. So why does it matter? Why does Ryan Day want to see these guys throw in person? What does that make a difference?
I just think you see how the ball comes out of their hand. You see their mechanics, their footwork. How much work am I going to have to put into this guy
Right.
to make him be successful in our offense? The arm strength's great. I mean, we all anyone can kind of see who's the strongest arm and everything else. But I think the coaches are really looking at how far away mechanically, footwork. And coachability. You want to work. Let's work with him for 30 minutes, and let's. Does he process what we tell him? Does he? What's it like working with him? Because that there's a very special kind of one-on-one relationship there between your quarterback and your head coach and your quarterback coach, and I think that's more important than maybe some other positions. It's just being on the same page and being having that relationship.
You had asked for some questions on our board last night. You go ahead.
Yeah, we got, so first one is any inside info on Xavier Nwankpa. Said, Mark, I know you said he's maybe not a sure thing anymore, but do you still feel this is something Combs and Day can still win over A&M and Notre Dame, or is it slipping?
I'm probably more optimistic than everybody else is at this point. I love where they stand. I love Combs' ability to pull recruits when the pressure's on and he has to nail somebody. You got to get Hancock out of Clemson. Well, that can't happen. No, it will happen. So I've seen this guy too many times. So, and maybe my feeling on Nwankpa is more about Combs than it is about Nwankpa. I just believe in Kerry Combs. He wants this kid really bad. He fits Ohio State so well. He's an athletic Jordan Fuller, more athletic Jordan Fuller. I think they're going to get him.
I would not move my pick off Ohio State right now. I feel like it's tightened up a little bit. It's been a long time here, this dead period. I think that's allowed the Texas A&Ms and Notre Dames and Iowas of the world to continue to work. I know he was able to get to Iowa at one point just because it's not that far. He was down at A&M, I believe, as well. I just think there's a little concern there that he's been a couple of these other places, even just doing the walkthrough stuff, and I think there's some concern there. Can't get him on campus soon enough. That's coming right up. So I think that's super important. I think they need this with him to kind of just stall any momentum elsewhere. But it's not panic time. I'm just a little less confident than I was maybe 6 months ago, but I still think they're in good shape. Pretty good shape.
And for people who maybe don't follow it as closely, he's a 4-star safety out of the state of Iowa. He's visiting this weekend on an official visit. They've got another 4-star safety visiting this weekend as well, Zion Branch. I mean, if they get one of those two guys, is that like, cool, everything's good? Or are they, do they fit in the same spot in the defense? Like, where do they need to end up? If they get one of two, are they happy? Or is it really like they really, really want both of these guys?
Well, I think if they got one of two, they would be happy, but they'll recruit both. They will not stop recruiting the other if they get one. I think Zion Branch is going to be tough to pull all the way out from Las Vegas, all the way east. But he's reciprocated interest. He's coming in on the visit. You see what happens. I think they would actually love to get one of them because then they could kind of relax a little bit and just
Yeah.
go full bore on the other one. And if they get them, great. If not, it's okay too.
Yeah, Zion Branch is from the Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas. That's the same program that produced Haskell Garrett,
Everybody.
Tate Martell. Everyone who you've ever heard of from Las Vegas is from Bishop Gorman.
No doubt.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'll let Bill kind of handle this one first. It says, prediction on whether or not Carter Smith, Ryan Baer, and Delian Bradley, 3 great Ohio prospects, whether they get offered and what the timeline of those offers might be.
I like all 3. I think all 3 could play here. And I think all 3 right now fall under the you can't take them all blanket. And there were years past, if Jim Tressel was still coaching here, all 3 would have offers right now. And probably all 3 would be committed right now. It's different Ohio State right now. I mean, I think it's pretty clear for Carter Smith and Ryan Baer, they're behind some other guys, some national guys that they want. And I think they're going to hold them off. I do not think they're going to get offered today, tomorrow, this week. I think they're going to wait and see where they stand with those other O-linemen that I think they look really good for right now. I think they're set up to have a great O-line class. And my God, how many times have I said that? I look like an idiot. This is probably no. I think they're going to get a great class. So those two got to wait. They got to wait and see what happens. Delian Bradley is interesting because we just talked about 2 guys that are clearly ahead of him, and I think if they get one of them, maybe there's room for Bradley. If they get both, then Bradley's probably out. So we'll see. All 3 of them have a chance to be in this class. I don't think any of those 3 have a chance to be in this class in the next 2-3 weeks.
And Carter Smith, I think, just got an offer to come for an official visit. I saw that yesterday.
That means a lot.
Yeah,
that means a lot.
Yeah, it's not a scholarship offer. It's not a committable scholarship offer, but it's
He's on the door. He's
yeah,
on the doorstep.
Yeah.
And he hasn't set that up yet. I did speak with him a little bit last night. He's trying to sift through some things. I think he wants to decide in July, and I don't know.
I don't
think
know.
Ohio
We'll
State.
see.
I think Ohio State would prefer he maybe
Right.
reevaluate that
Right.
timeline a little bit so that they can continue to evaluate things. But so that's kind of an up in the air situation right now in terms of when that visit's going to happen. It's ironic though, with especially I think with Carter specifically because I think he is a tackle. Could depend on Emil Wagner.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they lose Emil Wagner to Notre Dame, I think Carter Smith gets an offer.
And I think Emil Wagner is not the lock that
Yeah.
maybe we all thought he was at one point. Notre Dame is absolutely in that, and you always worry there with Marcus Freeman, such a great recruiter, and Mike Mickens, even though they wouldn't be his position coach, those guys are legends at Wayne.
Yeah.
So they're going to get a lot of help from staff at Wayne, coaching staff at Wayne, administrative people at Wayne. So Emil Wagner, I had him as a lock at one point. I still think Ohio State gets him, but that's in pen. Or pencil, not pen.
That's another visit coming up, and I think they're going to want to
Yeah.
cement that one.
Yeah, so Carter Smith is probably, I think he will have his answer by July. I
Yeah.
don't think he will in June.
Yeah,
There's
it may
too many
take a few
other guys
weeks.
visiting that they want to see where they're at.
Yeah.
And if Carter Smith's name sounds familiar, he was the guy who in February of this year, wrote a really, really well-written, well-thought-out, eloquent article or argument for why they really needed to open up visits. They open up visits on the first day. He gets an offer for an official visit at Ohio State. It's like, I see why he really wanted to do this. He was someone I had on the morning scoop, like really smart, thoughtful kid from one of the Olentangy high schools. Was it Liberty or one of those?
Liberty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Great
Yep.
program.
Yeah.
Great school.
Yep.
Great coaching.
Yep,
Great coaching there.
absolutely.
We kind of talked about this a little bit, but we can kind of run through this real quickly. What does a typical camp day look like for the recruits and coaches, and any expectations going into the first monster recruiting weekend that Ohio State fans should be on the lookout for? Bill?
Well, the camp is, it's kind of a meet and greet goes on early in the morning. About an hour before the camp actually starts, people register, and the coaches know who's here, and they will look through 10 little Johnnies to find little Jerry that they want to talk to. So there's a lot of schmoozing going on beforehand, and also with parents, with coaches. Then they break down and do a lot of stretching, a lot of drill work before lunch. And then after lunch is when the rubber meets the road. That's when you get the one-on-ones and best on best. And that's when Ryan Day wants to look at the guys he really wants to look at. So the last hour of the camp is really when it gets good. But it's a great day. I mean, even if you're not an Ohio State recruit, it's still a good day to come out here and get great instruction, play against great players, play with great players. So there's a lot of benefits to this.
And sometimes they have coaches from other schools here as
Absolutely.
well.
I don't think they are in this one just
Yeah.
because of the COVID restrictions,
Yeah.
but in the past, yeah, absolutely. You would see every MAC staff here represented.
Rutgers would be here.
Yeah,
and
so-
Pitt, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not this year.
No, not this year. For monster recruiting weekend, I think the thing with the upcoming weekend, getting all the commits here, and then if you look at what they've done with like Amari Abor, Zach Rice, these are guys, the safeties we talked about, these are guys they are hoping to either close on or make the big push immediately. And there's a reason those are scheduled
Now.
with the and with all the other commits here to kind of get the whole group together. And so that's going to be interesting to watch. I personally would watch Amari Abor. That's the one I think they've got some momentum with in the last few months. And that's the one I'm kind of focused on right now. I think Zach Rice is going to play the game. That's going to be a tough one.
Tough one.
And he's not going to call off the other visits.
No chance.
But Amari Abor, that's an interesting name to me this weekend, and we'll kind of see where that one goes.
Yeah, in my best guess list as I've been putting out lately, Amari Abor is a guy that's been climbing for me. I think I had him as unlikely at one point. Now I've got him as possibly, probably. And I think Oklahoma has slipped tremendously there. I think Larry Johnson's doing great there, and this weekend could be huge for him. It could set the table to land him.
He is, for those who don't know, a 5-star defensive end from Duncanville, Texas. Was considered like basically an Oklahoma lock, 100% Oklahoma crystal balls until 2 months ago or so, and all of a sudden it's like Ohio State's getting in there. So that's definitely one to watch.
And then the last thing here in the thread was update on the 2023 Big Three in Ohio. That's Brennan Vernon out of Menor, Sonny Styles, I almost called him Lorenzo, Sonny Styles out of Pickerington Central, and Luke Montgomery out of Finley.
Okay, I'll take Luke, and then you can have Sonny. Luke Montgomery was here on Tuesday with his younger brother Ryan. Ryan's going to be a big-time quarterback prospect. Luke, I think, Ohio State is a clear leader there. But he has a visit schedule set this month that, go look into USA Today, top 20, and he's going to every one of those schools. So Clemson, Alabama, everybody. So I think Ohio State will get him. I don't think they'll get him soon. Brennan Vernon has kind of gone underground, kind of ghosting people a little bit now, which he wasn't like that when he was, a freshman. So I don't know. I think Ohio State's in great shape there again. Menor's a big-time Ohio State school. I think they've done a great job with Brennan. Again, I don't think they'll get him this month, but I think they'll get him eventually. You're closer to Sonny Styles than I am, so fire away there.
Same people who warned me about Notre Dame with Lorenzo Jr. are telling me Sonny's a different kid.
Yeah.
Bigger Buckeye fan, bigger just into the whole football development, the NFL, like wants to play in the NFL, like kind of more like plays with that edge, kind of like his dad did. They think he's going to stay. Now Notre Dame's going to make this interesting.
Absolutely.
And while he and his brother are very different kids, they are very close. They're very close. But again, I think the differences, and we've talked about this before, and I've mentioned this before. Lorenzo Jr. actually got Sonny in contact with Ohio State.
Wow.
While Lorenzo was committed to Notre Dame. So he cares about his brother so much that instead of just, you need to come with me, he got him linked up with Ohio State because he knew he wanted to talk to Ohio State.
That tells you something.
I think they're going to get him. I think it's going to be interesting. And again, he just got Clemson the other day. He's going to have all the offers. Yeah. I think he's going to take the opportunity, the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go see some of those places. I do think Ohio State's going to get him. They are so locked in on him right now. They've made him priority number one in that class. Just to hit on your Brennan Vernon thing, I did talk to him about a month ago at the UC report camp, the Under Armour camp. I agree. I think Ohio State's going to get him. I think that's a more simple recruiting process. I think that's Ohio State and maybe like Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame's got a shot.
Notre Dame would be the school. If one school could upset the apple cart, it would be Notre Dame.
Yep.
That's kind of how I have that one. But I agree with you on Montgomery.
So we're through our questions?
Yes, we're through the
to
big
get back
questions.
to 2023, what are your thoughts on Padilla, Josh Padilla? I think he is someone that could pop soon. Now, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think he's a prime candidate for the first commit in 2023.
Yep.
I think the other kids, no disrespect to Josh, but I think the other kids are being so heavily recruited nationally that they're at least going to take the summer to go see some of these places.
I think so.
Whereas Josh is more of a regional recruit at this point, and I just think that's a kid. It just feels like one of those kids, like a Ben Chrisman, that they're just going to get him. Like,
I think so too, and possibly soon. I would have him on commitment watch.
Yeah.
More than the other three right now.
And he's coming up on the 8th now, which is a camp day.
Right.
So he's. My sense is that they're going to want to just triple check that because they haven't seen him in person. They probably love the film. Obviously, they've offered him. that they're going to want to triple check on the the in-person evaluation, and things could move very quickly.
Yeah,
I
they
think,
could
from
push
there.
him to commit, get things going.
Do the
and he may do it.
they could do the Denzel Ward offer and tell him, you gotta take it now. Once you walk out the door, it's
No
you
more
really
offer.
don't know. So I don't know.
Absolutely.
Well, we are going to have a bunch of coverage today at BuckeyesCoop.com. Bill is going to be shooting some videos inside, get some sense for like what's going on inside, keeping you updated on our Ask the Insiders board at BuckeyesCoop.com. Have to be a member of BuckeyesCoop.com to actually get to see that. So if you're not a member, this would be a great time to sign up. This is going to be a heck of a month anyway. Like this is going to be, I keep calling it the craziest month in college football history, and I think it really might be. So if you're going to try it for a month, this would be a pretty darn good month to do it. So you go to BuckeyesCoop.com and sign up today for membership, and you get access to our wonderful team of insiders right here, and all the rest of our wonderful staff, and you get our Ask the Insiders board, a really fun community. It's all at BuckeyesCoop.com. You can also, you sign up today, you have a chance to win Nevada Bucks 4 tickets for the Oregon game, which is also a pretty good prize, worth the price of admission all by itself. So that'll do it for right now. We will be back a little later on today to give you some more updates, but again, like throughout the day, check out the Ask the Insiders board at BuckeyesCoop.com. Thank you guys all for joining us, and we will talk to you a little later.
Very good.